Magic phrases to shut down a narcissist. Abracadabra. Ta-da! Simsalabim. Shazam. Hocus pocus. Alakazam. Open sesame. Presto changeo. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Are those some magic words that are familiar to you? Magical phrases? Indeed, they are. But would any of them shut down a narcissist? Short answer? Of course not. No, they wouldn't. They are just magical words used by magicians for the purposes of when performing a trick. The point remains that the suggestion that a magic phrase can somehow shut down a narcissist is something which needs to be examined. If you speak to a narcissist using any kind of phrase, you are interacting with the narcissist, and therefore that means you are providing us with fuel. If you say to the narcissist, "I love you," you provide us with pure positive fuel, and that's not a problem. If you're crying, saying, "You've hurt me so badly," as a consequence of the narcissist's behavior towards you, you're providing us with pure negative fuel, and that isn't a problem. In both those instances, you are giving us fuel, our lifeblood, and you're signaling that you're under our control. And as you know from my extensive work, control and fuel are the most important aspects of the prime aims that the narcissist seeks. Prime aims being, of course, fuel and control, character traits, and residual benefits. So if you're speaking to us in those terms, you are not shutting us down, and you're very much giving us what we want, and you'll be painted white because you are under control and giving us fuel. Can you shut down the narcissist with some phrase, some kind of magic term that can be utilized that will somehow bring the narcissist to a grinding halt, cause the narcissist to be shut down in an instant? If you issue any kind of comment which threatens the narcissist's sense of entitlement, attacks our sense of superiority, seeks to pin us with accountability, tries to point out that we've committed some kind of wrongdoing, that we ought to change our ways, that we ought to do something in a different way, that we are hateful, horrible, whether it's an insult, whether it is pointing out that we've done something unpleasant to another individual, all of those things amount to challenge fuel. You are giving us fuel, but you're challenging our control. And you won't shut the narcissist down. Why? Because you are interacting with us. And because you're threatening our control, our narcissism has to obey the first law of narcissism, which is all appliances must be under control or brought under control. You see, we see the world through a lens of control. Lesser and mid-range narcissists don't know that they do this. Greater narcissists and the ultra do know that they do this. In such circumstances, this lens of control means that everything, absolutely everything that you say and do, and indeed any person that interacts with us, is filtered through this lens of control. And you are either threatening our control, black, giving us control, white, not under control, black, under control, white. From running your fingers through our hair to telling us that we're a complete bastard, to blowing us a kiss, to kicking us in the balls. That activity and the words that you say is interpreted through that lens of control. And therefore, if you are speaking to us, and it is something that is denigrating us, putting us down, explaining that we've behaved incorrectly, telling us that we ought to do something, pointing out the error of our ways, etc., all you will do is challenge our sense of control, which means that the narcissism will kick in to defend us by causing us to respond in a particular way, whether it is to punch you in the face, scream at you, spit at you, charm you, issue a pity play, plead with you, argue with you, whatever it is. There will be an immediate response designed to assert control over you directly, and therefore you won't shut down the narcissist. It will not happen. The narcissist is obligated through our narcissism to ensure that you are under control, and if you threaten that control with a certain phrase, we respond initially by asserting control over you or attempting to do so. If you back down, we have got control. Problem solved. You gave us fuel, you threatened control, we've asserted control over you directly, matter has ended, and we move on to the next ribbon of interaction because of the compartmentalization of the narcissist. If you don't back down, if you stand your ground, and you continue to hurl the insults at us, you continue to attack, you continue to try and shut us down, ultimately the narcissist will withdraw. You haven't shut the narcissist down. The narcissist has operated a tactical retreat for the purpose of asserting control by moving within his world. In his unconscious, he now has control because he's nullified your threat. You are, of course, not actually being controlled, but that doesn't matter from the perspective of the narcissist. And you haven't shut the narcissist down because the narcissist will go and get fuel from someone else, go and control somebody else, and in all likelihood, subject to how good your no-contact regime is, hoover you at a future point. Anybody that suggests that there is some kind of magical phrase that can be utilised to shut down a narcissist doesn't understand narcissism, because an interaction with us means you're giving us what we want, fuel, and if it happens to be challenge fuel, we must respond to it by either asserting control over you directly, which we will always attempt to do to begin with, and often succeed, or if that doesn't work, we will then withdraw. Now, you might regard, perhaps, the fact that the narcissist walks off as shutting the narcissist down, but it won't happen immediately, because the narcissism goes to the first assertion of control first, hence its name, duh. So, when that happens, you have given fuel to the narcissist, you will have exposed yourself to potential risk of physical injury, emotional hurt, and of course you continue to interact with the narcissist, which has increased your emotional thinking, which is contrary to your best interests. Suggesting that there is a magical phrase to shut down a narcissist is misleading and can be dangerous. Some of you may have come here expecting to hear that there is some kind of magical phrase that I can furnish you with that will shut down a narcissist, and you may feel a tinge of disappointment that there is not. Cast your disappointment to one side and instead relish in the fact that you actually now have meaningful, constructive and effective knowledge to help you. That is the purpose of aligning some of my information with that of the misinformation by utilizing similar titles, so that people come across my work, realize, aha, that's wrong, and that you protect yourselves. I tell you this because that is the way that it is. I know what I am, and I know my kind. And the fact is, as I have logically explained, and I detail more expansively in my book Fuel, if you talk to us, you are just fueling us. And dependent upon the nature of what you're saying, you're either giving us pure fuel, there is no problem at all there, or it's challenge fuel. And there is a problem, but it is one that we will deal with by asserting control over you one way or another. This has been a Tudor treatment. I am H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.